It's true, I doctor up my coffee pretty good, add a little hot chocolate powder, a little cream to it, and I've got myself a faux cappuccino. I want to start off today's video showing you where we're heading. Here's the Union Jack that I'm working on. I've started to clear coat it, doing it with a satin clear coat. I'm liking how it's turning out. I am doing what I'm calling an aged Union Jack burst and making it look like it's got a bit of a patina over the flag, so it's like an aged flag. This is where we're heading. Over the next couple of videos, you're going to see my process of getting to there, and you're going to see a real fail. If you'd like to follow the process of turning a block of wood like this into a guitar like this, then you've come to the right place. And if you would like to see me give this guitar away, click subscribe, hit the bell. The pickup pocket's pretty well routed. If you're ever going to want to take the neck off, you would never want to do that. I've now attached the neck to the body of this guitar. I think I might have overstated something. I figured this would never come apart again. There's a technique that you can use to steam into that seam there and then pull those apart. I have never done that. Why not give it a try? So obviously I don't want to wreck that guitar, but I've got a body that I kind of gave up on. I had this together as a guitar. I don't know, I was never really pleased with it, so I've taken it apart. But I've also got this neck. I'm going to put these two together the same way I did those Union Jack bodies. And then in a few weeks, we're going to see if we can take it apart. I'll have to learn how to do that, so I haven't done that yet. But that's the big thing, I guess, about with the guys using the original Titebond, is that with the original Titebond, because it's water soluble, you can steam it and loosen it up, and so like a set neck, you're able to take them apart. I don't have experience with that, and again, I use the wood glue Max from Elmer's. We'll see if they can convince me to change to Titebond at some point. We'll see if I can steam this apart. I don't know if I can, so let's give this a try. It's now sanded down, so it is glued, it's screwed. Yeah, I didn't have a dowel piece for that, but I did have 3 pieces for that. We'll come back to this then in a couple of weeks to see if we can get these apart and how we do. Also today, I want to show you, I'm going to just go out and we're going to route out these neck pockets and do a little bit more routing on these semi-hollow bodies. I've done some in the last video. Now we're going to go ahead and finish out getting these neck pockets, and I'm going to route out these SA-X pickup pockets so that you can see how we do that, going all the way through with 3 different size templates to get to where we want to be there. So instead of just boring you to death here with this, let me get to work. This side is a Strat pocket, and then this side is a Tele pocket. I made sure to write on there Strat and Tele so I can tell the difference. If you want to know the difference, there's just a Strat pocket has more of a rounded pocket here, and then the Tele is a flat up at this point. I want to just recommend that you think through your process and what you want to do in what order. So I've got this so that I have not yet made the pockets for the pickups, and the reason is that I like to be able to just screw my template right down, and I've got these holes where those pockets are going to be. So right now I've got wood there that I can drill into and secure my template. A couple other things. So I've got about just a little over a 3-degree angle on this template. The other thing is with these templates that's really nice, of course, is that you've got the center line right here, and this is what's so important about making sure that you have your center line and you know where your center line is always, because then you just line everything up with that center line. That should put me right where I need to be now. And it sure is dead on. I'm right at 11/16 now in my depth. All the neck pockets are now routed to 11/16 in depth. 11/16 in depth. I've got the body taped up now, ready for beginning to stain, and the tape is just there to help me. I'm still going to try, and as I stain, I'll pull it away from the tape as opposed to pushing towards the tape to try and help it to not seep under the best I can. And I'm not going to soak it in there, maybe in the middle a little bit, but I'll try and be a little bit drier as I do these edges. I'm going to be using an alcohol based. I'm going to use cherry red. I've been trying to decide because I really kind of like this body just with the wood like it is. I'm for sure going to stain one, and we'll see. I might leave one of these bodies just with the wood as it is. I started this whole project based off of Paul McCartney's bass guitar that I saw at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. As you can see here, he's got the red and the blue and then the white or the light color of wood. And so I'm gonna try. I'm gonna see what it looks like. We're gonna go with this. So I'm gonna mix up some red to start with, and I'm gonna use some rubber gloves, I think, too. I already got stain on there. And that stain just doesn't come out very easy either. And this isn't gonna be a bright red by any means. It'll just make this mahogany have a red tinge to it. I do like that. I have added some dark mahogany now, or dark red mahogany, I should say, to this. I'm going to see if I can get this to be a little bit closer in color to what this is. So I've just added about 8 drips of the darker mahogany red. See if we can get this a little darker. It's a little breezy out here, but hopefully you can hear me just fine. I'm working on the pickup cavities right now on these Horizon guitars. Right now I'm working on the SA-X cavity, which the smallest of the 3 templates is this front one. And this is to make it so that this area here will basically be tight, real close to being tight up against the actual pickup itself. So it's nice and sleek and just streamlined there. So that's the first size. I will route this all the way through to the other side of the body on this size. And then I'll use this size, which is a little bit bigger, and I'll go all the way through the body until about 3/16 of an inch shy of coming to the front, because I want to leave a little bit of thickness here for my actual pickup to go through the back and then rest against that ledge of wood that'll be in there. Once that's done, then we've got a third size, and this will go over top of that hole to make just a little ridge there for the back plate to rest into. So that's what we're on right now. With these semi-hollow bodies, I needed to do it just a little bit different. I needed to drill a hole through so that I could see. Now I drilled those just straight through right on the edge of this, so that way I knew what my edges were, so that when I put this on, I know where I need to align it. It's now just about supper time, which would be, yeah, well, let's see, what time is it? It's 6:22. I guess it's a little after supper time. If 6 o'clock is supper time, or if that's your dinner time. In the Midwest, we have breakfast, 10 o'clock lunch, for farmers anyway, 10 o'clock lunch, and then noon is dinner, and then 6 p.m. is supper, where most of the country has 6 p.m. dinner. You have breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Oh, I forgot 3 p.m. lunch in there as well. So farmers, they needed their energy. I'm not a farmer, but I've done plenty of farm work. Well, as you can see, kind of like I expected, all sorts of bleed through here. So I'll be sanding these edges here. But yeah, I kind of wondered, yeah, that stuff, it's just impossible to do. I don't even know why I use tape anymore. So just makes for more work. Yeah, look at all that bleed through. Well, guys, so that was fail number 1. I failed miserably with that one. It bled through miserably. There you can see a little spot there yet, but I took this out and I sanded it all off. So it was just too wet, apparently, even trying to use the brush, and I was trying to be careful. You know, I did get it wet on the tape, but it happened. You can still see how it bled through here. But, well, anyway, fail number 1 with that, and it failed miserably. Lesson learned. It didn't take me very long to get this all sanded back off, but that means that now I need to resand it with finer and finer sandpaper until I'm down to about 400 grit. I could try not taping it and just going up to the lines, but I'm quite certain that I would bleed over the lines. And instead of doing it on the guitar body, I'll do a trial piece of wood first. Don't skip that and actually just do a trial piece. But a couple ways that I could potentially do this is to tape it, and then I've got an air sprayer. If I were to set it at a real fine mist so that it would just touch it and not get real wet, but just do that, and then do multiple coats of that where I just a fine mist, let it dry, fine mist, let it dry, fine mist, let it dry. I might try that. The other thing would be, instead of using a brush where it can kind of run, to use like paper towels or a cloth where it's almost dry. Like I would rub it and I'd have to kind of rub it in for it to get on, and then just come across off of the tape and onto that, but not have it liquidy at all. The bleed through thing is a real issue. We'll try again. Right, a quick update. I ended up sanding everything down on this guitar, and which means rough sanding quick and then having to take a couple hours to resand so that it was sanded back to about a 400 grit. Right now, by the way, this red, what I have found is that it gets darker when I put the polyurethane on. So when I did this guitar, believe it or not, this was about as red as what this is, or bright, I should say, as this. So I expect that the poly is going to darken all of this as well. That's what I expect. I ended up just using a brush, no tape, and just edging my way up to these edges. And I think because there is a very, very thin glue line there, and a lot of the grain is going different directions. So like this grain is going this direction, and this grain is this direction. Then I could edge up to that and it would stop, and it left me a pretty clean, straight line. I've got a few little spots like right there I need to take some sandpaper to. So a couple of spots to do that. Now what I'm trying to decide is if I want to do this like a Union Jack burst, if we could say such a thing. So what I'm thinking about is whether or not I take some darker red mahogany and kind of edge it with a darker red mahogany and have this be brighter and just kind of go into the darker edge to tone it down. I'm expecting that this blue is also going to darken up for me as I do. And here's my back. Now, as you can see that I got those dowels in there. It's nice, thin, low profile neck heel there. Feels pretty good coming up this way. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and just try doing a little bit of an edging on here, like I said, to do this little bit of like a Union Jack burst. I wrap a rag tight together so that there's no frayed ends or no flaps sticking on this end, so that's just kind of a ball. And I'm going to use this, instead of spraying, I'm going to use this tightly wound just a little bit, and a little stain goes a long, long way, so you don't need much. But I'm just going to do little swirls and kind of come around with that. And then I will need to use like a 600 grit sandpaper on all of this to get the roughness. I think I'm going to give this a shot just to see, and if it fails miserably, that would then mean that I will sand it down and do it again, which means that it's a really good thing that I didn't use a veneer, but I went with thicker wood. Yeah, let's give it a try. I really hope you're enjoying watching these episodes. I know that I am doing something that a lot of people don't do, but I also know that there's a lot of people that do this much better than I do. So I'm glad you're coming along and you're learning with me. There's plenty of things that I need to learn and figure out on how to do things and how to do them better. And so I'm going to continue to learn. You're going to get to watch me make mistakes, have some fails, have some wins, and we're just going to keep plugging away at this. I want to thank those of you who have enough faith in me to believe in me and think that this is worthwhile. So I want to thank my patrons who have supported me on Patreon. I've got my first couple of Patreons, so thank you to Chris, and also thanks to Sam and Emily for jumping on. You guys are the first few that I've got. If you would like to support what I'm doing here, trying to bring a little bit of extra joy into the world by giving some guitars away to people who could really, really use the encouragement, and hopefully encourage others through that gift, and maybe even a little pay it forward momentum going. If you'd like to support that, you can see in the description below how you can jump in and help support this as well. Bless you all. Fight for joy. We'll see you next time.
Tomorrow, there's no time to buy.